Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to go through all of the pans that I have hit so far this year. A bunch of people are doing this and I thought I would join in. I saw Alejandra or Alex Lizette do it, Misty's done it, and then I think some other people that I just lost my mind. So anyway, I'm going to do this. I think it's a lot of fun. I don't have as many pans as they have, but going through this, I mean, I think it's a pretty good deal. You know, it's a pretty good amount, and I'm proud of myself anyway, just because I know where I was last year with panning. I was really bad at hitting pan on eyeshadow or really anything else. So yes, if that interests you, then this is what this video is about. Let's get through it. I'm going to say all of these are in palettes. I do have one face palette here, but everything else is eyeshadow. I think all the pans that I already had or have pans in, I had from last year, and there's a lot of like bronzers, highlighters, blushes that I just don't have pans in, which I really need to work on. So most of these are eyeshadows, but anyway, that's kind of interesting anyway. I always find it a little bit more interesting when it's all eyeshadow anyway. It interests me more, and hopefully it will be fine for you as well. These are in no particular order because I haven't done them in order, so I'll just start with the top one here. I hit pan in this MAC eyeshadow palette. This is a 6-pan palette, and it's the Star Sighting Compact Infusion. This is one of their holiday ones from quite a few years ago, probably like 4 or 5 years ago now, but I hit pan in this shade here when I was working on it in one of my Panos eyeshadows monthly updates. And yeah, that's I mean, it was an easy shade for me. I really was into mauves and pinks and rosy tones at the time, and it is quite a pale shade to work on. So that is the first one that I worked on. I will say it took a really long time. I already had a pretty nice dip in it because I was using it quite a bit last year, and I don't know if all MAC palettes are like this because this is the only eyeshadow that I have from MAC, and I've never tried anything else from MAC in terms of eyeshadow, but these are really finely pressed. They're really quite hard pressed, and I don't mind that at all, but there's really hardly any kick up. It's not powdery like a lot of eyeshadow palettes are. So yeah, this was quite a feat, even though it looks like it's a pretty simple shade to hit pan on, and you know, it doesn't look super deep. It really did take me quite a long time. I should have marked down how long these all took me, but sometimes I haven't been marking it, so it's a little bit harder. Next one is an actual single eyeshadow. It was in my e.l.f. I always forget what it's called, the Electric Mood one or whatever, and it is this shade here. This one is called Winter, so I hit this one kind of recently. Really don't like it, but I did depot that palette, and I kept some of the other pretty shades, which are mostly all of the shimmers here. And yeah, actually while I'm in here, I did hit pan. Oh no, I had 2 pans in these two, but I did not do that this year, so forget what I just said. Next up is an e.l.f. quad. I hit pan in this shade here, which looks very similar actually to the MAC shade. Actually, to be honest, let me just put them side by side. They look awfully similar. You'll be able to see like what the shades are that I sort of pan. Okay, this one's a little bit more warm tone and maybe a little bit deeper. But yeah, this one was easy. I find e.l.f. shades to be easy, to be honest. I'll get into another palette where I've got a bunch of pans in one of them. But yeah, this was pretty easy. I thought this was going to be a little bit thicker than their 18 pan palettes, where I find that the pans are really shallow. I think these are pretty shallow too, to be honest. But this has a little bit of kick up. It was really nice. It's pigmented. I like this quad. This is the only e.l.f. quad that I have. This is the Berry Bad, but I really enjoy it. The only one that I think I would ever get if I ever got another one, which you know, it's been so long now, and I have had chances to get them and I just haven't, would be the jalapeno one. I think that would be the only one that I would probably pick up. Anyway, moving on, I've got some pans in this one. This is e.l.f. This is the Retro Paradise. This is such a beautiful palette. When people declutter this, I get so upset with them because this is really nice e.l.f. quality. This is so beautiful, and you got your lovely neutrals, but you got pop of color, and I just think there's a lot of versatility in this palette. But anyway, I hit pan in this shade last year, so I'm not counting that one, but I did hit pan in 3 of these. I hit pan in Sea Salt, this one over here, which is Fortuna, and the Perezzo, which is an amazing shade. This is like really affordable quality. I don't think, obviously this palette is discontinued, but this is a beautiful, beautiful duochrome. You've got like the shift of green, you've got the red undertone, and then you've got like sparkly yellow. Yeah, it's really beautiful. So for like the price that you get for these palettes, I think it's really worth it. I think e.l.f. is really hit and miss though, and I know a lot of people say that. My electric what is this? This is the retro, yeah, the Electric Mood palette was horrendous. I just couldn't work with it. So patchy. That's why I kept the shimmers. The shimmers were really decent, but I just couldn't work with any of the the mattes. But the mattes in here are really good. So yeah, I hit 3 pans in this one. As I said, I think these are really easy to pan because they're very shallow. And the fact that I love this palette so much makes it even easier for me to just play with it. The next one that I think I'll hit pan on is this Disco shade. I just haven't worked on it a little bit, but I think this could be a really, I don't do pan that palette for the year. I do pan that palette basically like a focus palette for the month, and then I roll on because I like to have variety. But I really feel like this is the type of palette that I could just do a pan that palette and not hate it. So I don't know, maybe potentially in the future, because this is already over a year old now. So maybe not, we'll see. Next up, I've got a few in Colourpop. So this is the Miss Bliss palette from Colourpop, and I've got 2 in here. So this one I was trying to hit pan on. I had a really nice dent in it from last year. This one I wasn't trying to hit pan on, but I hit pan on both of them pretty much around the same time. I think I hit pan on this one first, and then I was just adamant I was going to hit pan on this one. This is a really beautiful shade though. I really love this palette, and this shade right here, Chakra to Me, is just absolutely stunning. I think I've spoken about it again in another video, but it is so beautiful. It's this pink, but it has the shift of, it has gold. It's just got like that goldy, yellowy shift to it. Beautiful duochrome. Yeah, I think the Miss Bliss is highly underrated. I know a lot of people like it, but then I think because of, there's so many Colourpop palettes now. I got this 2 years ago or more. There's so many Colourpop palettes that it just gets overlooked, but I think it's just so beautiful. It's got those lovely light peachy tones and pink tones and a little bit of orange, and yeah, I just think it's beautiful. One of my favorites. Another Colourpop that I've hit pan on is in the Aha Honey. This one was not on purpose at all either. And honestly, I don't even feel like it should count, but I've hit pan in this middle shade, which is the Glitters, the Palooza. Used it twice and hit pan on it. It is really malleable, really creamy, movable formula. So I think anyone really could hit pan on that. I feel the same way in the Miss Bliss. This glitter shade is the exact same. You just touch it and it moves everywhere. There's really no, it's not solid at all, which is fine, but those are sort of easy ones. While we're on Colourpop, I'll just talk about another one. This is the Mint to Be palette. And this one, I have 2 pans in, but one of them is from last year. So this one I hit pan in last year in my Panner's eyeshadows, but this one I hit pan in this year in my Zodiac Panner. So I'm really excited. If you haven't seen that update, then this is a spoiler, but I have hit pan in this. So yeah, I was really trying to. I had a really nice dip in it from last year anyway, so that's why I kind of put it in the Zodiac Panner. And it was also the right shade for me to use. But yeah, really enjoy this palette as well. I don't think it is as good as the Miss Bliss, if I'm honest. I find the quality is a little bit worse. I don't know what it is about it. From the moment I got it, I always found it a little bit too powdery. That's the problem with it. But anyway, I hit pan in that one. One of my most recent ones, which if you haven't seen my most recent Panner's eyeshadows, then this will be a spoiler, but I have hit pan in my Novena palette. This is my first ABH pan ever, which is in here, the Dreamer shade. But it looks like it's all rusty underneath, which I know that's pretty common. But I have a little itty bitty pan. Really love this palette. It's beautiful. It was my focus palette for the Panner's eyeshadow, so I used every single shade, and yeah, I really think it is stunning. It's always ranked at number 1 or number 2 in my rankings, so yeah, really enjoy this. But I'm happy that I have a pan in it, because I like to see pans in palettes that I actually like, because it shows that I love them. I don't really want pans in palettes that I don't like. It doesn't make sense to me. So anyway, moving on, we have the Urban Decay Stone Vibes. This one I have gone through a journey with. I did a first impressions, I liked it, then I was swayed by all the negativity about it, and then I didn't like it, and then I was like, look, come on, let me work with this. I started to enjoy Topper shades a lot as well, and now I really love it, and it shows. I mean, I really do love this palette, and I hit pan in the Opal Aura in my Zodiac panning in the first month, and it was funny, I was in the video, I was like, oh, I haven't hit pan yet, but I'm so close, but I was literally showing a pan in my video, so I was just blind. It's because the pan was basically the same color as the shade. This one I'm also trying to hit pan on, and I'm filming this a little bit ahead of time, so I don't know if I have pan in by the time that my update goes up. I'm not really sure, but anyway, really love this palette. I just think it's super stunning, and yeah, kind of unique in my collection. Next up, I've got the Revolution Chill palette. This one I was working on quite a bit last year, but I didn't end up with any pans, but this year I have 2 pans in it now. So this is the shade that I was working on last year. I've also been working on this one in my Pan Nose Eyeshadows. As you can see, I do not have pan, but I hit pan in the Relax shade and also the Acapulco. Really easy to hit pan in this one because it's very creamy formula. This one I imagine would be also really easy to hit pan on, but I haven't tried. But yeah, I really like this palette. This is the only Revolution palette that I have left, and I'm happy about that. I really enjoy it. I hate the glitters. The glitters are horrendous. If you don't like ColourPop glitters, you will find these trash. These are trash. ColourPop glitters are so much nicer than these things. These are just awful. So yeah, I just, you know, I could get rid of them, remove them, but I just haven't. Another one that I have is in my Nomad palette. And this is the Cartagena Magica palette, and I have a pan in this shade right here. This is my favorite shade in the palette, which is the Eres El Mundo, and it is really beautiful. Haven't been swatching all of them, so do apologize, but yeah, you can see I just love these glittery shimmers. I love them. I'm trying to hit pan in this one, but it's going a little bit it's just hard to actually. The formula is different. I've said it before, but this one's much more powdery than this one. This one's a lot flakier. So I find with flaky shimmers, they're easy to pan. The powder ones, not so much. I don't know. I do like this shade. Would be my second one in the whole palette, but I definitely prefer this formula. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. So moving on, I think these are my last pans for this year. Oh no, wait. No, let me talk about the Space palette. So I have the e.l.f. Electric Mood face palette. Now I have panned this completely in the last 6 months. I also hit pan within the last 6 months. I rolled it into my Pan Nose eyeshadows, and yeah, I finished it really easily. And I also hit pan in the bronzer in the last 6 months as well. So those two have happened all in the last since 2022, so that's pretty cool. So I wanted to talk about that. Those are the only sort of face products that I've hit pan on so far. Everything else has been eyeshadow, as I said. Now that I can think of, I have finished stuff, but it's just not like seeing pan, you know what I mean? And anyway, the last shades are from my Book of Magic from Beauty Bay. I love this palette. It is my favorite blue palette basically that I have. And I already had a pan in Enchanted shade, but I hit the pan in Manifest and also this Moonlight shade, which is beautiful. You can see the pan right there. This is absolutely stunning. This one I wasn't trying to hit pan. I honestly wasn't trying to hit pan in either one of them, but I had a pretty nice dip in the Manifest, which was the... Why am I swatching it there? That is not a good place, Gabby. Swatch it where people can see it. There we go. That's the Moonlight. It is a beautiful. I like to top this, you know, use it as a topper. I like to top this. What am I talking about? Anyway, I wasn't trying to hit pan in anyone. I was just using it as a focus shade, but I did, as I said, have quite a bit of disturbance and like a dent in the Manifest, and I find these pans, just like the e.l.f., really easy to pan. I think they're pretty shallow. I think they have a beautiful formula in terms of they're just easy to use and malleable. And I really find it a pleasure to use them. This is my only Beauty Bay palette. It's the only one that I've really wanted from all of the ones that they've released recently. They've released a lot. And I'm really happy that I didn't go and buy any of them because I think I would have been disappointed. I'm really happy with this one. And I'm just, yeah, it's a pleasure to use. The one that I'm working on right now is this one, Elixir, in my project, my Zodiac Panna project. So yeah, hopefully I can get a little bit more pans in this one. I'm also trying to pan this one in my Pan Nose eyeshadow. So as I said, I'm filming this a little early, so I might have a pan in that by the time that my Pan Nose eyeshadows comes out, which I think it comes out before this video will come out. So that actually might have a pan already. So that's pretty exciting. So that is 19 pans that I've hit so far this year. It is a lot lower than a lot of people, but I think that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm sorry, but if you asked me this time last year how many pans I'd had hit that year, I think it was 2. I think it was 2 or 3, and that was it. And yeah, I'm just, you know, I'm really getting into just trying to like realizing what works for me and what doesn't. I think last year I was still trying to figure it out, and like this is like a recommendation that I would give to anyone who wants to pan makeup or pan eyeshadows and is struggling. Don't try to pan the stuff that you hate. Try to use the makeup that you really love, and it will come naturally, I swear, because that's why I'm, you know, the start of the year, I wasn't, for my Pan Nose eyeshadows, I wasn't focusing on like 5 different shades from 5 different palettes. I was focusing on 2 different palettes, wanting to love those palettes, use every single shade in those palettes, and I naturally got pans in them because I was gravitating to the shade that I really wanted to use in the palette. And it kept it interesting for me to switch it out every month. If I didn't hit pan, I didn't hit pan. I have since rolled in some shades, but I'm still doing a palette every month because I want to love my makeup. And if I don't love it, then obviously I will declutter or do something about it or depot it or whatever it is. So I would recommend, if you are trying to get through your makeup, just don't hate pan. You know, I'm not trying to pan, actually I am, but we'll see how it goes. But for the most part, you saw what I'm hitting pan on. They're light shades. They're easy shades for me to hit pan on. It gives me a boost of confidence. It also is in palettes that I really love. Like none of these palettes I hate. I like all of these palettes. They're not palettes that I want to get rid of or anything like that. So I would just focus on the palettes that you love, wear the makeup that you love, and the pans will come naturally. If obviously you want to try to get through your makeup faster, then yes, put some focus on it. Tell yourself, I want to use this shade 5 times this month. I want to use this shade 5 times this month, and have a couple of shades that you want to use within a palette, but then still enjoy the palette. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of what I've been doing, and it's been working for me. As you can see, hopefully, you know, I can just keep this up for the the rest of the year. And next year, who knows what I'll be doing? Maybe I'll do 50 in 6 months. I don't know. But thank you so much for watching. This was fun to film and just have a look around. But anyway, yeah, hope you enjoy. Like and subscribe if you'd like to, and I will see you next time. Bye.